So it is Monday, I've gotten back from work. I am going to be doing a vlog this week for a secret TBR, and that is going to be my most anticipated thrillers right now. Whoa, okay, this is Jeffrey Deaver, but I just glanced down and I definitely read Jeffrey Dahmer, and I was like, Jeffrey Dahmer blurbed a book? I didn't think this was that old. Also, that would be like very scary, honestly, if like hadn't a serial killer and cannibal blurbing your book. Is that a positive thing if it's a thriller, or is that a bad thing? So as you can tell, one of the books is going to be Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I've heard a million good things about this and I'm so ready for it. I believe this story is following two sisters whose oldest sister actually died when they were younger, and it's like 20 years later, one of the sisters whose living husband disappears and another girl from their hometown goes missing as well. So they try to start and investigate and see if they might be connected to the disappearance / murder of their older sister from the past. I actually got the audiobook as well because even though this is deceptively short, these pages are pretty thin and like a lot of. I turned to the end of the book. You probably shouldn't read that. The font's fairly small. The audiobook's like 20 hours. So next up, I'm also going to be reading The Project by Courtney Summers, and this is the Page Turner Book Club's read for the month. This one's a YA mystery, and Courtney Summers actually wrote one of my favorite YA mysteries from last year, Sadie, so very excited about this one. I believe it is following a young girl whose sister has become a part of a cult, and after she interacts with a man whose son was a part of the cult and recently died, they start to work together to try and figure out how to bring the cult down, or at least expose what it truly is. Fascinated by cults. I am so excited. I'm already 2 hours into it and I'm loving it. Finally, I'm also going to be reading an arc by Alex Finley, and this is Every Last Fear. I got this from NetGalley. I'm just a little behind in reading it because this actually has already come out. This story is following a college student whose family all dies on vacation, I believe, and some people think it's an accident, but he and the FBI aren't so convinced. However, his family has actually been in the true crime limelight before because his brother was convicted of killing his girlfriend in high school. However, his brother has also received a bunch of attention from a documentary who was trying to prove that it is possible it was a false confession or all I can think is mistrial, and that's not the word. The main character is trying to figure out what happened to his family, and possibly is his brother actually innocent. Really intrigued about this. As someone in the true crime community, I want to see how we're portrayed and how it ties into the case. Like, does it help? Does it hinder? That's been discussed before. Like, if you look at the podcast Murder Squad, where it's literally trying to encourage people to help solve these cold cases, but at the same time, like, this could be just, overloading cops with tips and things like that. I only have one physically to hold up. 3 books. Let's see if I can get through all of these in a week. I didn't do it for my feminist reading vlogs. All right, so I'm gonna go take Faith for a walk, and it's like 80 degrees out today. I love it. Spring is here. I missed her. As I mentioned, I have already gotten about 2 hours into the project and I am very intrigued by it. We are actually going back and forth between the perspectives of B and Lo. B is the older sister who is a part of the cult, and Lo is the younger sister who is trying to get her out. It does get revealed fairly early on that their parents actually died in a car crash, and Lo was actually in the crash as well and suffered serious injuries, and I think was probably in a coma for quite some time, and that was right around the same period when B was discovered by one of the members of the cult and was led into it. Yeah, makes sense, kind of going for someone when they are vulnerable. There was a jump in time from when that accident happened to now. I think Lo is like 19. I don't know how old she was at the accident, but she was on the younger side. And so now she's kind of attempting to be her own person. She has not spoken with B in quite some time, and she is aware that B is a part of a cult. Some of the characters we've been introduced who are a part of the cult already have been making me angry because I can tell how they are using their rhetoric and trying to twist it so that Lo seems like the aggressor. Yeah, it's just fascinating, like psychology standpoint. But all right, so I'm gonna officially go take Faith on a walk. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, so guess who has already hit nearly the halfway point in the project? That would be me. Lo is such a good character because she's angry and she's desperate for answers, but she actually has a backbone and she's willing to stand up to these people who are keeping her from her sister. But at the same time, I need her to get fired up a bit more.
more. I actually really like what this is doing because it's going back and forth between B's point of view and Lo's point of view. B's is in 2012 when shortly after she just joined the cult. And so we're kind of seeing things from her perspective and how she finally feels like she has found something that is answering what she has needed at this point in her life and is giving her a new family, a new purpose. That's what cults do. But on the other side, we're seeing Lo as she is trying to delve into the entirety of this cult and trying to desperately show that it is in fact more than it appears. Obviously, this is about cults, pretty dark topic already, but I don't know if I would necessarily say it is, but there was definitely a scene that felt a little reminiscent to like grooming. Since I am at a decent stopping point, I want to try and pick up Every Last Fear because I only have an ebook for this one, so I need to like actually read it, whereas the project I can continue tomorrow in audiobook format. Anyway, today was a pretty decent day. Work wasn't too crazy, which was really nice. I finally got to actually watch some booktube, which I just have been way too busy lately to actually do it, and I've missed it. It was really nice. I miss getting to like see what everybody else is reading and doing, and anyway, okay, that is it for now. I am going to start on Every Last Fear. Hey guys, it is Tuesday night and I honestly just completely forgot about updating. I went to take Faith on a walk and I was planning to come back early and hopefully get some editing done and then like have dinner. Plus I played some Among Us and other online games with some friends. Yeah, that went really well up until I ran into my brother on my walk. So I ended up just hanging out and talking with him, and then I got back and I had to go right into helping my mom with dinner, so I didn't get any editing done. Then I had to just go back and forth between editing and gaming, and actually updating never crossed my mind. Wow. Pushing 7 hours into the project, and I'm really enjoying this. It's making me so uncomfortable, which given the context of the story, that's a good thing. Like it makes sense that it's making me uncomfortable, along with, as I mentioned, cults, and then there was kind of like the grooming pedophilia thing going on. Now there's like definitely some gaslighting. I genuinely just don't understand how Lo has let her guard down so often. If I was looking into a cult, there are so many things I would be doing different than she does. Right where I stopped, I was actively so uncomfortable that I was just like cringing. I had to pause cooking to just kind of like sit there and see what was going to happen. That's impressive writing on Courtney Summers' part. I'm having very visceral reactions to the story. On the other side, I'm like 10 chapters in, I think, to Every Last Fear, and I'm very intrigued by this. So it turns out not only do we have the surviving child of this family who was massacred, we have his point of view, we also have a past point of view of the father after his oldest son gets incarcerated. So that's really interesting. Didn't know that. Plus, as I mentioned, the older brother was incarcerated, and at one point he actually was the source for a documentary trying to showcase that it might have been like a false confession and he was wrongfully persecuted. There's the word. I remembered. We actually get like little excerpts of the documentary where it'll kind of do a breakdown as though you were reading the script for the show. That's pretty interesting. Again, not something I was expecting. Unsure which mystery I should be focusing more on, like the one of the oldest brother being incarcerated, and like, is this a actual false confession, but Matt might know something that leads him to believe that it wasn't, that his brother actually did do this terrible thing. But on the opposite side, like Matt's parents and little sibling have also been killed. We don't know if it's murdered or not. It's kind of like questionable. Anyway, so I'm gonna finish getting ready for bed and I'm gonna listen to some more of the project because I think I've calmed down a little bit now. I can hopefully move past the uncomfortableness, and then I'll hop into bed and probably read some more of Every Last Fear. Hey guys, so it's Wednesday. I have gotten back from work
I took Faith on a quick walk. It's crazy windy outside, like really windy. I mean, I'm wearing leggings and like a 3/4 length shirt, and I was freezing because it's so windy, even though it's sunny and like 75 degrees out. So cut that short. Also, work got a hair stressful at the end of the day, so made myself a rum and juice. Anyway, so you know how the last time I talked to you, I said that I was going to try and read some more of Every Last Fear? Well, that was a bold-faced lie. I ended up finishing the project instead. I did really enjoy this. I think one of the most fascinating things of this story was the characterization of Lev, who was the cult leader. Obviously, from my perspective, because I knew this was going to turn out to be a cult, did not see him as charismatic and convincing, but I can understand how the other characters in this book did. And he had a fantastic way of just like picking up on people's insecurity, on really mimicking their emotions. Also, the man was clearly a giant narcissist, and I think he could play on other people's narcissistic tendencies, because there would just be some things he would say to his followers to be too low, where I couldn't help but wonder, do you really think you're that special? Like, not to be mean, I mean, but there's 7 billion people in the world. Obviously, this book's about cults. I mentioned before how there was like the whole grooming thing that was very uncomfortable. And then later, basically at the climax of the story, there is kind of a torture scene, so be aware of that. I really enjoyed the ending of this book, although after the climax happened, there was this time jump. I'm a little aggravated at that, just because I feel it would have been more interesting if we had seen what was happening between those two periods. So that was kind of a drawback. The further into the story we got, I really started to enjoy B's chapters more, because we were seeing how her thought processes changed, and that was really interesting to see the development of how she came to certain conclusions throughout it. Unfortunately, I didn't love this as much as Sadie, but I did still very much enjoy it, so I ended up going with a 4-star rating on this one. It was really good and interesting. This truly made me so uncomfortable at so many points. I do think it's a positive thing in Courtney Summers' writing that she made me feel so strongly about what I was reading. So I didn't actually read anything else into Every Last Fear, but I started on Pretty Girls. I actually started into the audiobook for this. I'm already into chapter 3. There's like different parts in this also where we're seeing from the two girls' father's point of view. The last chapter I read was kind of in like a second person perspective. We have been introduced to both of the main sisters, Claire and Lydia, and they live fairly different lives. Claire seems like she's pretty well off, although something happened in her past where she ended up in jail. Lydia, on the other hand, is a single mother. She has a boyfriend and she owns her own business, but she's not very confident in herself, and I believe she had some run-ins with the law when she was younger. Anyway, so it's Wednesday, and you guys know what that means. It is movie night with my friends tonight, and we are actually going to be watching Deadpool 2, and I'm so happy about it. Like, this was my pick for our movie series currently. We're starting that back up, and I'm very happy because the Deadpool movies are just so good, and like direct line to my funny bone. Fantastic.
You were so adorable.
Hey guys, so it is Thursday and I'm heading home from work. It has been a super chaotic day. I got a little bit further into Every Last Fear last night, and now we had a point of view from the main character Matt's little sister Maggie, and I'm just starting to wonder, like, good lord, how many different point of views can we have in this story? Maggie was also a very big proponent in arguing that her oldest brother Danny was innocent of the crime he was arrested for. I've also gotten a bit further into Pretty Girls. I think I'm into like part 3 now, and holy crap, like I really got surprised by something dark happening, just like very out of nowhere. I think Lydia might be my preferred sister for the time being. I don't know. She was the one who was like a drug addict, but she's also kind of like a take no shits kind of person, and I appreciate that. Anyway, so it's Thursday, and you know what that means? It is movie night at my brother's. So we are watching more of, what's it called? Gravity Falls. We are into season 2 now, and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm very happy about that. I have no idea what sounds good for dinner. I'm kind of feeling tacos. Indian also sounds really good. It's been a hot minute since I've had Indian. Y'all, I know everybody told me that this was insane, but this is insane. Oh my god. I'm like probably nearing the halfway point. I'm at part 5 now. I don't know if I'm gonna have nightmares tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised. This is really dark and really messed up. What I just hit, I was not expecting that. This is crazy. So with this one, we've been bouncing back and forth between Lydia and Claire's perspectives, and then we have the beginning portions, which are letters from the father to their oldest sister, Julia, who disappeared. I'm really enjoying this. I really love the back and forth between the perspectives, and then once Claire and Lydia come together, we kind of are seeing through both of their eyes within the same chapters. There isn't like clear distinctions anymore. This is really dark. This is crazy. But at the same time, I'm so invested in the mystery. Like, I'm so desperate to figure out, how far does this go? How many people are wrapped up into this? Does it go all the way to the top? I need to know. Also, just like the timeline for these crimes is insane, because then you think about it and you're like, how long has this been going on? How many people are into this? Okay, anyway, I have also hit like, I think chapter 24 or something like that in Every Last Fear. I'm not enjoying that one as much, unfortunately. We've now seen from the perspective of the mother prior to the vacation where the whole family died. I'm just starting to hit the point where like, I don't understand why we're seeing from the other family members' perspectives. I guess we're seeing how they felt about the oldest brother Danny's conviction and that kind of stuff. I suppose we're seeing how their relationship were working, where the family was at, but I don't know. I'm not really interested in the oldest brother Danny's crime. I'm so much more intrigued by the murder of an entire family in Mexico. No one can decide whether it was an accident or a murder. Although something fascinating did happen with Matt. He has gone down to Mexico to try and claim his family's bodies. Don't know what happened. Talking some game with a girl, and they leave a bar. He's trying to find a hotel, and suddenly like shit just hits the fan. I'm starting to wonder, like, okay, maybe this does have a bit of conspiracy theory thing going on, where it connects the family's crime with the brother's crime. Also, the dad worked for a company that was being investigated for like embezzling or fraud or something along those lines, which is why we are seeing also from the perspective of the FBI agent. I don't know. I just feel like the bouncing back and forth between timelines as well as perspectives is making it very difficult to stay invested in the storylines, particularly when there's these two different crimes that we are investigating and we already don't know if they're connected or not. Also, hi, hey, what's up, hello. It is Friday. I just realized I didn't say any of that. I'd work today. It was chill. It was fine. I got to go to my favorite taco restaurant with my dad. I took Faith on a really nice walk. I watched a movie with my parents, and yeah, now I'm gonna get in bed because my sister-in-law and my brother are supposed to be dropping off my nieces at like 9:30 tomorrow morning.
Hey guys, so this is gonna be a really fast update because I have spent the day going to take my niece on a little hike at that really cool nature preserve that Josh and I went to last week, and it was super fun. But now apparently Josh's parents are taking us out to dinner, and this was so unexpected, so I am attempting to look somewhat presentable really fast. I also need to do laundry crazy bad, so like I wasn't wanting to wear a dress, but I guess I'm wearing a dress. Thankfully, it's like actually decently warm outside. I haven't really read anything else today because pretty much right after I got out of bed, my nieces got here. So I did, however, have some really nice B-roll for you guys where we were walking around the forest and in some of the wetlands. It was very fun. Got a nice workout in. We did 3 miles. Planning to listen to some more of Pretty Girls on my way to Josh's. Hoping to see what the heck else is happening in this book, because it ended on this like giant shocking reveal. Still hung up on it. That is all for right now. I'll talk to you guys later. As I said, this was going to be a very fast update.
Hey y'all, so it's Sunday and I have about 100 pages left in this. I am at the 50% mark in Every Last Fear also. Guys, this book it's brutal. Like, I knew, people told me, still didn't prepare me for how hardcore this is. I have to say, Karen Slaughter's writing just truly gets in your head. This has made me so uncomfortable. It has just actually made me gag. Like, the woman can make you have such visceral reactions to what's happening. She genuinely has a way of making you so unsettled. It's impressive. Y'all, the twists in this are... This book overall is just a lot. It's a lot. On the other side, with Every Last Fear, I don't know how to feel about this. There's just so much going on in it. As I mentioned, like, the 2 main crimes that are being looked into clearly have to be tied together, but I just don't really care about what's happening with the oldest brother's whole case. I don't care, and because of that, I don't really care about any of the before timelines where we're seeing from the different family members. With that, I think the only 2 perspectives I really care about are the FBI agent Keller and Matt, the brother in the after timeline, where he is trying to deal with this whole fallout of his family dying. I keep going back and forth. Part of me wants to keep pushing through, but the other side of me is like, you're not enjoying it. You're not invested in the mystery. Why are you trying? I just think there's a lot going on because every single point of view has something that can explain and further the investigations, but at the same time, they also each have their own drama that they're dealing with. And like, there's a lot of extra stuff I don't want to know about when I want to be focusing on a mystery. Anyway, so it's Sunday. I got back from Josh's. We watched the new episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I'm definitely intrigued. Bucky is like one of my all-time favorites, so you know I'm ready for more of that already. Anyway, I actually need to work on editing this video because I have been putting it off all week. I just didn't want to do it. So I'm attempting to go through and like cut out all of the spaces where I'm not talking while I continue listening to this. I also am really enjoying the little excerpts we get from the father's journals / like letters that he wrote to Julia, the oldest sister, even more because we're really seeing how far he had actually gotten into investigating the case compared to what everyone actually believed. I'm so invested in seeing how far this goes. Like, how high up the food chain are people connected to this case? Like, does it go all the way to the top? I'll talk to you guys later. Maybe. We'll see. Probably. I have to do an official wrap up of this. I'm gonna try and at least finish this today. Probably might make an official decision on Every Last Fear tonight also. Hey y'all, so we're officially wrapping up this reading vlog. I finished Pretty Girls and this was just fantastic. It was terrifying. It was creepy. It was thought-provoking. Genuinely had me shuddering at different points. It got into my head, and the way this story unfolded was just fantastic. The way Karen Slaughter makes you so uncomfortable, it makes your heart race and genuinely just draws you in along with the characters. So impressive. I just had to give this 5 stars. This was a amazing thriller. This is real dark. So good, but real dark. Thank you to everyone who kept recurringly telling me to read this because it definitely paid off. On the opposite side, with Every Last Fear, I've been reading a bit farther into it. I've gotten maybe like another 5 chapters in. I'm actually probably nearing like past the 60% mark now, yet another perspective has been explored now. The most recent chapter I went to start was from the perspective of Danny, the oldest brother who was actually in prison for killing his girlfriend. So when I'm this far in and a new perspective is getting revealed, it was just too much for me. So unfortunately, I'm not officially DNF this. Obviously I went into this expecting that there were going to be these 2 different crimes that were somehow connected, but I think how it's being laid out with the multiple perspectives across 2 different timelines is just too much and is causing for all of these additional side plots with every single character that I have no interest in reading because I'm focused on the mystery, but instead we're looking at all this drama. That is a pretty big disappointment to me because I had been looking forward to this. There's a reason I applied to get an arc of it. It sounded really interesting, but wow, look at that. I actually managed to finish all 3 books this week for this secret TBR. As always, thank you so much for coming to my channel today, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Bye.